I've earned 30 plus certifications, and I'm here to guide you to success on your exam. Welcome to the Ultimate 200 to 301 Exam Masterclass. Are you ready to crack the 200 to 301 exam in one go? You're in the right place. In this session, we'll arm you with powerful insights and hand-picked questions that can make all the difference in your exam performance. We've scanned the web using intelligent crawlers to gather the most critical and high-impact questions, all compiled into one powerful PDF resource. You can download it from the link in the description. Not only will we explore these must-practice questions, but we'll also share real exam experiences and pro tips to give you that competitive edge. Let's dive into the key questions that could shape your success. Question 1. A frame that enters a switch fails the frame check sequence. Which two interface counters are increment? Choose 2. A. Input errors. B. Frame. C. Giants. D. CRC. E. Runts. Correct answer A and D. Input errors. CRC. Explanation. Input errors count all bad frames, and CRC errors increment when frames fail the checksum. Question 2. How do TCP and UDP differ in the way that they establish a connection between two endpoints? A. TCP uses the three-way handshake, and UDP does not guarantee message delivery. B. TCP uses synchronization packets, and UDP uses acknowledgement packets. C. UDP provides reliable message transfer, and TCP is a connectionless protocol. D. UDP uses SYN, SYN-ACK, and FIN bits in the frame header while TCP uses SYN, SYN-ACK, and ACK bits. Correct answer A. TCP uses the three-way handshake, and UDP does not guarantee message delivery. Explanation. TCP uses a three-way handshake for reliability, while UDP sends datagrams without guaranteeing delivery. Question 3. Which 802.11 frame type is association response? A. Management. B. Protected frame. C. Action. D. Control. Correct answer A. Management. Explanation. Association response is a management frame that confirms client connection to an access point. Question 4. In which way does a spine and leaf architecture allow for scalability in a network when additional access ports are required? A. A spine switch and a leaf switch can be added with redundant connections between them. B. A spine switch can be added with at least 40 GB uplinks. C. A leaf switch can be added with connections to every spine switch. D. A leaf switch can be added with a single connection to a core spine switch. Correct answer, C. A leaf switch can be added with connections to every spine switch. Explanation. Adding a leaf switch with links to all spines maintains predictable paths and scales horizontally. Question 5. What identifies the functionality of virtual machines? A. The hypervisor communicates on layer 3 without the need for additional resources. B. Each hypervisor supports a single virtual machine and a single software switch. C. The hypervisor virtualizes physical components including CPU, memory, and storage. D. Virtualized servers run efficiently when physically connected to a switch that is separate from the hypervisor. Correct answer, C. The hypervisor virtualizes physical components including CPU, memory, and storage. Explanation. A hypervisor abstracts hardware, letting virtual machines share CPU, memory, and storage resources. Question 6. Which command automatically generates an IPv6 address from a specified IPv6 prefix and MAC address of an interface? A. IPv6 address DHCP. B. IPv6 address 2001, DB8:5:112:/64 EUI64. C. IPv6 address autoconfig. D. IPv6 address 2001, DB8:5:112, 2/60 for link local. Correct answer B. IPv6 address 2001, DB8:5:112, /60 for EUI64. Explanation. The EUI64 option creates an interface ID using the MAC address combined with the given prefix. Question 7. What is the default behavior of a Layer 2 switch when a frame with an unknown destination MAC address is received? A. The Layer 2 switch forwards the packet and adds the destination MAC address to its MAC address table. B. The Layer 2 switch sends a copy of a packet to CPU for destination MAC address learning. C. The Layer 2 switch floods packets to all ports except the receiving port in the given VLAN. D. The Layer 2 switch drops the received frame. Correct answer, C. The Layer 2 switch floods packets to all ports except the receiving port in the given VLAN. Explanation. If the MAC is unknown, the switch floods the frame to all VLAN ports except the source port. Question 8. Which network allows devices to communicate without the need to access the Internet? A. 172.9.0.0/16. B. 172.28.0.0/16. C. 192.0.0.0/8. D. 209.165.201.0/24. Correct answer B. 172.28.0.0/16. Explanation. The range 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255 is private, so 172.28.0.0/16 is a valid private network. Question 9. Which IPv6 address type provides communication between subnets and cannot route on the Internet? A. Link local. B. Unique local. C. Multicast. D. Global unicast. Correct answer B. Unique local. Explanation. Unique local addresses, ULA, are like private IPv4, routable within an organization but not on the Internet. Question 10. Which IPv6 address block sends packets to a group address rather than a single address? A. 2000:3. B. FC00:7. C. FE80:10. D. FF00:8. Correct answer D. FF00:8. Explanation. IPv6 multicast uses FF00:8 to deliver packets to multiple devices in a group. Question 11. What are two reasons that cause late collisions to increment on an Ethernet interface? Choose 2. A. When carrier sense multiple access/collision detection is used. B. When one side of the connection is configured for half duplex. C. When the sending device waits 15 seconds before sending the frame again. D. When a collision occurs after the 30-second byte of a frame has been transmitted. E. When the cable length limits are exceeded. Correct answer B and E. When one side of the connection is configured for half duplex. When the cable length limits are exceeded. Explanation. Late collisions happen when duplex mismatch or cable length exceeds standards, causing timing issues. Question 12. What is a benefit of using a Cisco wireless LAN controller? A. It eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. B. Central AP management requires more complex configurations. C. Unique SIDs cannot use the same authentication method. D. It supports autonomous and lightweight APs. Correct answer A. It eliminates the need to configure each access point individually. Explanation. A WLC centralizes AP management, so configuration changes are applied once and pushed to all APs. Question 13. What occurs to frames during the process of frame flooding? A. Frames are sent to all ports, including those that are assigned to other VLANs. B. Frames are sent to every port on the switch that has a matching entry in MAC address table. C. Frames are sent to every port on the switch in the same VLAN except from the originating port. D. Frames are sent to every port on the switch in the same VLAN. Correct answer, C. Frames are sent to every port on the switch in the same VLAN except from the originating port. Explanation. Flooding sends unknown unicast frames to all VLAN ports except the source port, ensuring delivery. Question 14. Which function does the range of private IPv4 addresses perform? A. Allows multiple companies to each use the same addresses without conflicts. B. Provides a direct connection for hosts from outside of the enterprise network. C. Ensures that NAT is not required to reach the Internet with private range addressing. D. Enables secure communications to the Internet for all external hosts. Correct answer A. Allows multiple companies to each use the same addresses without conflicts. Explanation. Private IPv4 ranges can be reused by different organizations without conflict, but require NAT for Internet. Question 15. Which action must be taken to assign a global unicast IPv6 address on an interface that is derived from the MAC address of that interface? A. Explicitly assign a link local address. B. Disable the EUI 64-bit process. C. Enable SLAC on an interface. D. Configure a stateful DHCPv6 server on the network. Correct answer, C. Enable SLAC on an interface. Explanation. SLAC uses router advertisements to generate global unicast IPv6 addresses automatically from MAC details. Question 16. Several new coverage cells are required to improve the Wi-Fi network of an organization. Which two standard designs are recommended? Choose two. A. 5 GHz provides increased network capacity with up to 23 non-overlapping channels. B. 5 GHz channel selection requires an autonomous access point. C. Cells that overlap one another are configured to use non-overlapping channels. D. Adjacent cells with overlapping channels use a repeater access point. E. For maximum throughput, the WLC is configured to dynamically set adjacent access points to the channel. Correct answer A and C. 5 GHz provides increased network capacity with up to 23 non-overlapping channels. Cells that overlap one another are configured to use non-overlapping channels. Explanation. 5 GHz offers more channels, and using non-overlapping channels and overlapping cells reduces interference. Question 17. How do TCP and UDP differ in the way they provide reliability for delivery of packets? A. TCP does not guarantee delivery or error checking to ensure that there is no corruption of data. UDP provides message acknowledgement and retransmits data if lost. B. TCP provides flow control to avoid overwhelming a receiver by sending too many packets at once. UDP sends packets to the receiver in a continuous stream without checking. C. TCP is a connectionless protocol that does not provide reliable delivery of data. UDP is a connection-oriented protocol that uses sequencing to provide reliable delivery. D. TCP uses windowing to deliver packets reliably. UDP provides reliable message transfer between hosts by establishing a three-way handshake. Correct answer B. TCP provides flow control to avoid overwhelming a receiver by sending too many packets at once. UDP sends packets to the receiver in a continuous stream without checking. Explanation. TCP ensures reliability using flow control and acknowledgements, while UDP sends data without checks. Question 18. What are two differences between optical fiber cabling and copper cabling? Choose 2. A. A BNC connector is used for fiber connections. B. The glass core component is encased in a cladding. C. The data can pass through the cladding. D. Light is transmitted through the core of the fiber. E. Fiber connects to physical interfaces using RJ45 connections. Correct answer, B and D. The glass core component is encased in a cladding. Light is transmitted through the core of the fiber. Explanation. Fiber optic cables use a glass core with cladding and transmit data as light signals through the core. Question 19. How does CAPWAP communicate between an access point in local mode and a WLC? A. The access point must not be connected to the wired network, as it would create a loop. B. The access point must be connected to the same switch as the WLC. C. The access point must directly connect to the WLC using a copper cable. D. The access point has the ability to link to any switch in the network, assuming connectivity to the WLC. Correct answer, D. The access point has the ability to link to any switch in the network, assuming connectivity to the WLC. Explanation. CAPWAP tunnels allow APs to connect through any network switch, as long as WLC connectivity exists. Question 20. What is the difference regarding reliability and communication type between TCP and UDP? A. TCP is reliable and is a connectionless protocol. UDP is not reliable and is a connection-oriented protocol. B. TCP is not reliable and is a connectionless protocol. UDP is reliable and is a connection-oriented protocol. C. TCP is not reliable and is a connection-oriented protocol. UDP is reliable and is a connectionless protocol. D. TCP is reliable and is a connection-oriented protocol. UDP is not reliable and is a connectionless protocol. Correct answer, D. TCP is reliable and is a connection-oriented protocol. UDP is not reliable and is a connectionless protocol. Explanation. TCP provides reliable, connection-oriented communication, while UDP is faster, connectionless, and unreliable. Question 21. What are two descriptions of three-tier network topologies? Choose 2. A. The distribution layer runs Layer 2 and Layer 3 technologies. B. The network core is designed to maintain continuous connectivity when devices fail. C. The access layer manages routing between devices in different domains. D. The core layer maintains wired connections for each host. E. The core and distribution layers perform the same functions. Correct answer, A and B. The distribution layer runs Layer 2 and Layer 3 technologies. The network core is designed to maintain continuous connectivity when devices fail. Explanation. In three-tier designs, the distribution handles L2/L3, and the core ensures redundancy and fast connectivity. Question 22. Which type of IPv6 address is publicly routable in the same way as IPv4 public addresses? A. Multicast. B. Unique local. C. Link local. D. Global unicast. Correct answer, D. Global unicast. Explanation. Global unicast IPv6 addresses are internet routable, functioning like public IPv4 addresses. Question 23. What is the expected outcome when an EUI64 address is generated? A. The interface ID is configured as a random 64-bit value. B. The characters FE80 are inserted at the beginning of the MAC address of the interface. C. The 7th bit of the original MAC address of the interface is inverted. D. The MAC address of the interface is used as the interface ID without modification. Correct answer, C. The 7th bit of the original MAC address of the interface is inverted. Explanation. In EUI64, the 7th bit of the MAC address is flipped to form the interface identifier. Question 24. A corporate office uses 4 floors in a building. Floor 1 has 24 users. Floor 2 has 29 users. Floor 3 has 28 users. Floor 4 has 22 users. Which subnet summarizes and gives the most efficient distribution of IP addresses for the router configuration? A. 192.168.0.0/24 as summary and 192.168.0.0/28 for each floor. B. 192.168.0.0/23 as summary and 192.168.0.0/25 for each floor. C. 192.168.0.0/25 as summary and 192.168.0.0/27 for each floor. D. 192.168.0.0/26 as summary and 192.168.0.0/29 for each floor. Correct answer, C. 192.168.0.0/25 as summary and 192.168.0.0/27 for each floor. Explanation: A/25 summary covers all floors, and /27 subnets provide up to 30 usable addresses per floor. Question 25. What is a characteristic of spine and leaf architecture? A. Each link between leaf switches allows for higher bandwidth. B. It provides greater predictability on STP blocked ports. C. It provides variable latency. D. Each device is separated by the same number of hops. Correct answer D. Each device is separated by the same number of hops. Explanation: in spine leaf, all devices are equidistant, ensuring predictable latency and uniform path lengths. Question 26. A device detects 2 stations transmitting frames at the same time. This condition occurs after the first 64 bytes of the frame is received. Which interface counter increments? A. Runt. B. Collision. C. Late collision. D. CRC. Correct answer, C. Late collision. Explanation: collisions after 64 bytes are considered late collisions, typically caused by cable length or duplex issues. Question 27. How do TCP and UDP differ in the way they guarantee packet delivery? A. TCP uses retransmissions, acknowledgement, and parity checks, and UDP uses cyclic redundancy checks only. B. TCP uses two-dimensional parity checks, checksums, and cyclic redundancy checks, and UDP uses retransmissions only. C. TCP uses checksum, acknowledgements, and retransmissions, and UDP uses checksums only. D. TCP uses checksum, parity checks, and retransmissions, and UDP uses acknowledgements only. Correct answer, C. TCP uses checksum, acknowledgements, and retransmissions, and UDP uses checksums only. Explanation: TCP ensures delivery with checksums, acknowledgements, and retransmissions, while UDP only uses checksums. Question 28. A wireless administrator has configured a WLAN. However, the clients need access to a less congested 5 GHz network for their voice quality. What action must be taken to meet the requirement? A. Enable band select. B. Enable DTIM. C. Enable RxSOP. D. Enable AAA override. Correct answer A. Enable band select. Explanation: band select steers clients to the 5 GHz band, reducing congestion and improving voice quality. Question 29. For what 2 purposes does the Ethernet protocol use physical addresses? A. To uniquely identify devices at layer 2. B. To allow communication with devices on a different network. C. To differentiate a Layer 2 frame from a Layer 3 packet. D. To establish a priority system to determine which device gets to transmit first. E. To allow communication between different devices on the same network. F. To allow detection of a remote device when its physical address is unknown. Correct answer A and E. To uniquely identify devices at Layer 2. To allow communication between different devices on the same network. Explanation. MAC addresses uniquely identify devices at Layer 2 and enable local communication within the same network. Question 30. You are configuring your Edge router's interface with a public IP address for Internet connectivity. The router needs to obtain the IP address from the service provider dynamically. Which command is needed on interface fast Ethernet 0/0 to accomplish this? A. IP default gateway. B. IP route. C. IP default network. D. IP address DHCP. E. IP address dynamic. Correct answer D. IP address DHCP. Explanation. The command IP address DHCP allows the router to request an IP address from the provider dynamically. Please revise full PDF 2 to 3 times for 100% success. Check the description for the PDF download link and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for upcoming episodes. Thank you.